let's listen to the kick drum in solo first. First, we'll hear it as it's been recorded, and then I'm going to switch to the polarity. It's not a crazy difference, but it does sound like an EQ move almost. So we've heard a little bit of a difference on the kick drum. Let's listen to the bass. So when I flip the polarity on the bass, it's a little growlier, the sort of the deeper, more stable kind of like bottom end. It becomes less present. It's almost like an EQ move. I prefer most sounds to be pushing the speaker. Okay, just individually. So far, like what we've been talking about with just the kick drum, just the bass, is like how those things sound individually, how they react with the speaker, how they present to you, and the difference that makes. The kick drum and the bass are very much, they're carrying the low end of this composition and recording. In the rhythm section, these things are working in harmony in some way. You know, they also have an independent pattern and part, but they function very much together to give you that unified, punchy, impactful feeling from music. Now, let's listen to them as it's recorded in agreement, and I'm going to just change them both one at a time. And you'll see that there's a difference in the way they're combining, and then I'll explain a little bit about that. When I change them individually, the first thing I hear the sonic difference in the sound that I'm changing, because I'm focused on that in the previous example. But then when I start to listen to how they affect each other, they make the foundational part of the low end more dynamic in terms of its volume differences and the way it's combining. Let's do it one more time. So when they're as recorded, they're just more consistent, and the low end and the punch of everything seems very consistent, because what's happening is they have a relationship. When they are playing together in that relationship and hitting on the same beat, if one of them is pushing and one of them is pulling, well, the speaker can't do both at the same moment, especially in the low frequencies, because of the physical aspects of the speaker. If the kick drum is asking the speaker to move forward to push the air, and the bass is asking the speaker to pull the speaker in to start its sound, if that's happening at the same time, it's kind of almost like a tug of war. Now, the bass is going to be more consistent in its dynamic and velocity volume than the kick drum. As the kick drum is played harder, that relationship changes even more. So polarity is not necessarily only about all the individual microphones and elements of a drum kit. It's how it combines with other things. And I might have it all in a way that I'm very happy with the drums. I got a great drum sound. But if I don't make sure that I pair the bass with it properly, well, then the bass pulling the speaker when the kick drum's trying to push the speaker, that's going to make the drums sound erratic again. And so that's why these relationships, they matter so much to me, to kind of get a mix to kind of come together and be, really, really present. Now, this is where I'm going to get into the keyboards a little bit. I'm going to let you hear the whole thing, but I'm going to flip the polarity on the bass, and we're going to hear how that affects the other things. It's going to start to color the organ a little bit and some of the other elements in the drums. So let's listen to that. The organ has like a dark, sustaining tonality to it where the primary frequencies are around the tonal center of the note. When I change the polarity on the bass, because they're both very sustained sounds that they're working in a relationship as well, I notice the sort of the deep warmth of the organ goes away because the sustain of the bass is in some ways working against it. So let's just listen to that, please. You hear it there? The da da. No, before the da da, it's the longer notes. The organ sound becomes lighter. It's almost like a very subtle EQ move that takes away some of that, that tone that's in the 200 to 500 range. Okay.